confuse a stripper with a prostitute. A high majority of the prostitutes are trafficked, but some are not. Although they may seem the same as a dancer, they are entirely different things. Girls who are trying to get ahead will dance. Girls without any hope will prostitute or are modern-day slaves who are trafficked. Having first-hand experience with being a dancer, I realized that there are many things that people don't understand about strippers and strip clubs. The people who go to the clubs don't talk about why they go or what happens there. More so, strippers do not spend their free time explaining to people how they pay their bills, or how hard it is getting by without having to be ostracized by society, including those inside the clubs. To understand me and my story, I should probably explain a few things about the complex lives of strippers, prostitutes, the human trafficked, customers, and strip clubs. Strippers are a strange and rare breed, so much so you can only pick them out of a lineup if they are dancing, for, say, at a regular old dance club. Most dancers love the attention that comes with the job and being listened to, but they are also excellent listeners. They are not always starved for attention. Sometimes the attention could get overwhelming, drawing them into a swamp of unnecessary actions. A dancer making money and getting plenty of attention is having both her material and emotional needs met simultaneously. A form of closure comes with it, albeit an illusion. Their emotional needs cease to be met when they stop being the exact way the men require, or if the cycle begins. Although the attention is intoxicating, sometimes finding true love is much harder to come by. However, this is an ugly cycle because every dancer has nights where they are not compulsorily seen and felt at work. Nothing is more devastating to a dancing girl's ego than going to work and realizing that no one is interested in her that night, or even worse, throughout that week. During such times, past feelings of rejection and abandonment will rear their head, dragging the individual into the reawakened aura of the past. The false sense of emotional satisfaction is lost, and then it becomes evident that it is all an illusion. Although this doesn't stop the girls from coming back and relentlessly trying again. It is a cycle, and a resulting fantasy is better than the feeling of emptiness. But for me, dancing gave me the confidence that I once lacked. I became more daring and challenging, even if it was far from the point where I was coming from. I was raised in a culturally diverse area. We were taught to respect, or at least pretend to respect, one another outwardly, regardless of any differences we may quietly perceive. Most of the people I encountered up until this point in my life acted the same way. My neighborhood was a nicer, lower-middle-class suburban one, and I had no problems but used to not quite fitting in. Toleration was not an issue there, as everyone felt the people around them deserved some level of acknowledgement. Until I began dancing, I felt discrimination was not a massive issue for people of my generation and background. But the truth is that I only had this thought because I was in a cloak for a long time. It became more apparent the moment I stepped out. At a strip club, racial issues are out in the open and never brushed aside in the name of good manners. Some nights, people did not want me to dance for them because I didn't have blonde hair or blue eyes. Those days were the few times I wished there was an issue with my lineage, where I would suddenly develop the features of a soft American, and my mother would suddenly declare that I was adopted. Other nights, people only wanted me because they had some crazed fantasy about African American girls. And I never thought about being white at those times. I wondered if the white dancers ever wished they were black. The strip club is all about fantasies, fulfilling and recreating, dreams of how people think things are and how they wish they could be. But just like all fantasies, when reality dawns, it shocks one into a state of disbelief. So here, the critical factor in surviving is the awareness that everything is non-existent.